disappointed that you're not spoken to me. That's a part of our culture. It's called call and response. It was brought to this country by the African bondsmen and women, and it's gone to every phase of our society. I mean, whether it's formal or informal, at religious observances, games, or sporting events, everybody uses that call and response. But you know, I think it's more notable in our music, or noticeable, that is, in our music, whether it's gospel or rhythm and blues, whatever. Indulge me here a minute. If I would say to you as a call and response, say it loud, you'd probably say,
I'm black and I'm proud.
That's right. Or let's see if I can think of another one. Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
That's right. You got it. Well, I think that's, oh my goodness, it's getting so I do this quite often. I forgot to introduce myself. You can't assume anything these days. When I was born, I was given the name Marguerite Annie Johnson. But my professional name is Maya Angelou. I was given the name Maya by my brother, Bailey Johnson Jr. He's a year older than I. When we were younger and he'd introduce me, he'd say, "This is Maya's sister." And so I became Maya. And of course, Angelou is the name for my first husband. Yeah, I was born on April 4th, 1928, in St. Louis, Missouri, to Bailey Johnson Sr., a Navy dietitian, and my mother was Vivian Baxter Johnson. She had a number of jobs, though. She was a real estate agent, she was a nurse, a barber, and a merchant marine, just as I had a number of careers and occupation. I've been an actor, a writer, a poet, a performer. You know, I don't remember, though, much about my parents' marriage. I do remember how volatile it was. I mean, they were like matches and gasoline. They divorced when I was 3 and Bailey was 4. When they divorced, we were sent to Stamps, Arkansas to live with Mama and Uncle Willie. Now, Mama was my grandmother, my father's mother, Mrs. Amy Henderson. And Uncle Willie, his brother, you know, Uncle Willie was crippled. I don't know how he got that way. I remember hearing that he was injured at birth. I remember hearing he was born that way. Well, I'm not real sure. But at any rate, we were put on the train and sent to Stamps. Remember, I'm 3, Bailey's 4. We were so young that tags were put on our wrists. And the tags read, "To whom it may concern, Marguerite and Bailey Johnson from Long Beach, California, are en route to Stamps, Arkansas, in care of Mrs. Annie Henderson." Well, a porter was put in charge of our care, but he got off the train the next day in Arizona. Well, the other Negro passengers took care of us. I guess they felt sorry for these poor little motherless children. And they gave us plenty of potato salad, cold fried chicken. Stamps. Stamps is a little town in southern Arkansas. Extremely prejudiced. It was so segregated that I'm not exactly sure that the white children knew exactly what a white person looked like. You know, there was a joke. How did it go? I say it. I remember that Stamps was so segregated that the only time a Negro could get a vanilla ice cream was on the 4th of July. That's it. You know, Mama ran the store. Everybody called it the store. The real name was William Johnson, merchandising. But she had run the store for 25 years. She got started by selling lunches. She sold lunches to the lumbermen from the sawmill, and she sold lunches to the people from the gin, the seed men. Well, that store sat right smack dab in the middle of the black area in Stamps. Mama sold those lunches, and then she stocked her store. Oh, she had things like thread. You could get a variety of colored thread. You could get coal oil for your lamps. There was mash for hogs, corn for the chickens. There were shoe polish, shoelaces, and flower seeds. Anything you didn't see, you could always order. You know, the store was kind of the center of activities for the Negro population of stamps. I mean, everybody just gathered there. Even the cotton pickers would come early in the morning to get on their trucks, and the trucks would drive into the yard, and they'd go to the fields and come back, and you could always tell that they were kind of disappointed at what had happened to them during the day. They hadn't made as much money as they thought they were going to make. You know, they hadn't even made enough money to get out of debt with my grandmother, let alone the people in the stores downtown. You know, the store was kind of a gathering place for everyone. I mean, on the weekends, the barbers would set up their chairs and cut hair on the porch, and the bluesmen would come by and they'd play their juice harps and their cigar box guitars and sing their sad songs. Everybody just gathered there. That was the place where everybody came. I guess we were living with Mama for about 4 years. And then, without warning, my daddy showed up. Well, Mama said, baby, my baby, good grief, baby. Uncle Willie said, baby is here. And my brother, baby Junior, said, no, damn, it's our daddy. He's here. And my 7-year-old world, Humpty Dumpty, never to be put back together again. He stayed in Stamps for about 3 weeks, and then he loaded us in the car to take us to California. At least that's where I thought we were going. Well, we had only been driving for a short while when he told us we weren't going to California. We were going to what? Going to St. Louis? And I started to cry. And he said, don't cry, Daddy's baby. Don't you want to see Mother, dear? What would she say if she knows you've been crying? Well, I decided to shut up and dry. Because crying wasn't going to get me back to Stamps and Mama did. So I went to St. Louis. You know, St. Louis was different. It was a different kind of hot and a different kind of dirty. I mean, the people all lived in buildings that were covered in soot. And as far as I was concerned, we were being driven straight to hell. And my daddy was delivering daddy. I didn't know how right I was. In St. Louis, I was raped by my mother's boyfriend, Mr. Freeman. He was arrested and tried and given 1 year and 1 day sentence. But he never served a day. A few days later, I heard they found him dead in a lot behind a slaughterhouse. I heard later he'd been killed to death. But I knew that wasn't right. It was my voice. My voice had killed him. And the only way that I could keep that from happening again is I'd stop talking. And I did. But my family didn't like that very much. Soon I was being punished for not talking. And finally, the thrashings by any family member who I had offended. And then enough was enough. We were on that train back to Stamps. And this time, it was baby who cried. Well, when we got back to Stamps, everybody thought that I was upset because I had to leave the big city. They thought I was pining to get back to St. Louis. They thought that that was the reason that I wouldn't talk. Everybody thought that except Mom and Miss Flowers. Miss Flowers. Miss Bertha Flowers. Mrs. Flowers was a black aristocrat of Stamps. I mean, she would, when she walked, when it was cold, she had the grace and control that she appeared to be warm all the time. And on those hot summer days in Stamps, I mean, there seemed to be a cool breeze that was always circulating around her. One day, Miss Flowers came into the store, and she was picking up a few items, and she was talking to Mama, and she asked if I could go home with her. I had to carry the things. And Mom said, go change your dress, sister. I went in to change my dress, and I looked, and I couldn't decide which one to wear. Finally, I chose one, and I went back in the store, and Mama said, you look nice. Miss Flower said, you make the most of the children's clothes, don't you, Miss Henderson? Sure do. I tell you, them store-bought clothes ain't what thread they stitch with. Well, I was walking home with Miss Flower, helping her carry the packages. And she said, Marguerite, I understand that you do well in school, but your teacher tells me she has trouble getting you to talk. Come, look this way. Well, you need to know that talking is a language that helps us communicate with our fellow man. No one can make you talk. Probably no one ever will. But you need to know how important language is. That makes the difference between humans and lower forms of animals. Well, you know, I've never heard that before. I was going to give that some thought. Well, when we got to Miss Flower's house, she put up weird things, and she gave me some tea cookies that she had baked. And then she got her book, and she read to me. She read The Tale of Two Cities. Now, I had already read it, but when she opened that book and started to read, it was the best of times and the worst of times. Well, it sounded like poetry. I mean, her voice went up and down in between those words. I'd never heard anything like it. And when she finished, she said, how's that? And it occurred to me that she expected an answer. I said, Miss Lamb? She gave me some books. And she said, take them home, read them, be very careful with the books. Oh, one more thing. She gave me some cookies for baby. And she gave me a book of poems. She said, I want you to learn one of these. Read them. Learn one that you like. Memorize it. And the next time you come back, I want you to recite it for me. When I left Miss Flower's house, my feet didn't touch the ground. I was down that hill on the way to the store. I couldn't wait to tell Mama and Baby what happened. Well, I ran in the door and Baby said, what she give you, mine? Mama said, I hope you acted like a baby. Lord knows I try to do everything I can. I like it when older folks take an interest in y'all. I try to do everything I can to raise y'all right, but sometimes I just don't know. Go change your dress, sister. Yes, ma'am. Oh, by the way, baby, Miss Flower sent you some tea cookies. What you say, sister? Mom said, her voice cracking with anger. They said, Mama, she just said, Mister, I ain't talking to you, Jew, I'm talking to sister. I said, what you say? Well, I didn't know what purple cow I had bumped into. So I repeated it. I said, by the way, Miss Flower sent you. That's what I thought you said. You get that dress off. I'm going to switch you. Well, I thought she was playing. Until she went out and I heard her walking heavy across the floor, and she came back and she had a long peach tree, a broken peach tree, a switch in her hand. She said, come on here, get on your knees. And so we got down on our knees. You too, Jew, come on, get on your knees. We got down on our knees. Mom said, bow your head. We bowed our head. And she began to pray. She said, bow your head. She said, our Father, Lord, you know the tribulation of your humble servant. I have with your help raised two grown boys. Many a day I have thought I wouldn't be able to go on, but you gave me the strength to see my way clear. Now, Lord, look down on this heavy heart today. I'm trying to raise my son's children in the way they should go. But, oh, Lord, the devil tried to get to me on every hand. I never thought I'd live to hear cussing under my roof. Well, I try to keep dedicated to the glorification of God. And cussing coming out of the mouths of babes. But you said the last days that brother would turn against brother and children against their